In this video, I'm going to show you how to combine Distress Mica stains, embossing folders, and gold hero wax for amazing results on your card projects. Hi everyone, I'm Mindy Eggen and welcome to my channel. I would love it if you subscribed to my channel, liked this video, and shared it with your friends. Now let's get into the card project. To start with, I'm going to be using the Tim Holtz Distress Watercolor Cardstock from Ranger. So I have a piece here that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I placed it in my Splat Box. I'm going to start by spraying some clean water on the smooth side of the cardstock, and I'm going to start at the top of the cardstock with the Distress Mica Stain Empty Tomb. I'm going to spray that in the top third portion of my cardstock. Then I'm going to bring in Cricut Broomstick and Decayed at the very bottom. I wanted it to be just a little bit darker towards the top, so I came back in with that darkest color, added that, and then I'm going to just slightly dry this. I am using my Ranger heat tool to do that heat setting because it doesn't get overly hot. Then I'm going to come in with some of that clear water again, spray that to help move this around, and then just start picking up my cardstock and moving it a little bit. I'm going to kind of get that excess color from the very edges by just turning the cardstock and dipping that onto that paper towel that I have in my Splat Box. Now I'm going to bring in some of the Phantom Mist. This is also in the Distress Mica Stain line. It has kind of a gray blue to it, so I added that in some areas. Dried that again with the heat tool, and now this time I'm bringing in Unravelled, and this has almost like an antique linen type of look to it. So I added some spritzes there, and then I'll completely dry this background with my heat tool. Next, I'm going to take this cardstock once it's completely dry, and I'm going to place it in my embossing folder. So this is the Golden Fern from Simon Says Stamp. I'll run that through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cut machine, and once this comes out, it leaves the most amazing impression, and I absolutely love doing embossing folders on cardstock that I've kind of sprayed with the Distress Mica stains. It always comes out super amazing. Now to step this up even more, I am bringing in the gold hero wax. So it comes in this little container, and I just pick some up with my fingertip, and I'm going to rub this all over the raised areas of my cardstock. Now I really do tap off a lot. I don't want to come in super heavy. One of the reasons is because I don't want to get it on not the raised areas of the cardstock, if that makes sense. You can see I tap off a little bit off on the side, and as it gets smaller here towards the top, you're going to see that I get some down in the recessed areas of the cardstock, and I didn't want that. So what I try to do is I take a baby wipe, and I'll fold it up, and I'm going to try and wipe that gold hero wax away, and I'm doing it very, very carefully. Now it does pick up a little bit of the Distress Mica stain, but I don't think it's enough that you're really going to notice. It did pick up that kind of overspilling I did of the wax. Now down here towards the bottom, that was a lot easier because that one has more of the raised edges kind of closer together. So that really enhances the embossed design. Now I'm going to do some splattering, and I just picked some of that hero wax up with my palette knife, placed it on my glass work surface, and added a couple drops of water. And then I'm going to flick this onto my background for gorgeous gold splatters. Now my splatters are going to look really big because my paintbrush is a pretty big size. I really only wanted some small flicks, but this works just as well. Now once I have my splatters on here, I'm going to start thinking about the sentiment that I want to use. So I'm going to give you a close-up here real quick of my background. It is gorgeous. Now you don't have to have this kind of dark harvest looking, I guess, kind of color tone. You can do any type of colors with the mica stains. The mica stains just really bring out a shine and shimmer. So for the sentiment, I'm using the Simon Says Stamp Basic Trio. I already had the Hello die cut out twice from white cardstock, but I wanted one more layer, so I die cut out my third one, and that's going to add dimension to my sentiment. I did it out of white so it'll really pop off of that background. And I'm going to just layer those hellos together with my Connect glue that I have in a fine tip bottle. And then I help kind of place it down with my tweezers. Now, of course, the back of our panel, which I'm leaving at the full 4¼ by 5½, it is pretty detailed or embossed on the back. So what I found to really work good is taking these Altenew double adhesive sheets, and I trimmed it down to just a little bit smaller than my card front, and I placed it onto the front of an A2 size card base. I removed the release paper, and then I can take my card front and place this over the top. Now I start in the bottom left-hand corner and I line up my edge with that folded edge and then really press that down good. I found this is the best way to secure any type of card front I create with an embossing folder. Now, apparently I was a little off in my measuring, so I took this over to my big paper trimmer and just trimmed that down so you don't see any of that white edge from my card base. Now my card base is done, my card front is completely done. The only thing left is to add my sentiment. So I'm adding that liquid glue behind my letters of the hello, and I'm going to bring in my small T square ruler to help me line this up straight on the front of the card. Once I have that on there, I'm going to bring in something heavy like an acrylic block or even your Misty to place over the top and let that sit for a couple minutes. Because we have that really textured background, I want to make sure that that's going to stick down really well. Now, I decided I wanted a sub-sentiment. I apologize, I have no idea which sentiment strip set this is. Some of them I don't have labeled, but look through your stash if you happen to have these. I found one that I just went ahead and trimmed it down with my mini paper trimmer. And then I'm going to layer the back of it with some strips of black cardstock that I cut. So this is going to help also give it that dimension. I prefer using cardstock over foam squares a lot of the times because it's consistent all the way across the back and it's black. So you're not going to really notice it that much. Now, once again, I'm bringing in my T-square ruler to help me line that up straight right underneath that die cut word hello. Now here, once again, I also brought in that heavy block and set it on top of there and let that sit for a couple minutes. And then I'm going to finish this off by embellishing it with these clear quartz sequins from Gina K Designs. And now I have this amazing card with all of this texture and all of that shine going on. The video really does not capture how shiny and gold that hero wax is or that mica stain shine. It really has a beautiful sheen and shine to it. The pictures kind of do it a little bit more justice. I will have all of the supplies I used in today's video listed down below in the video description. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and this has given you some ideas and inspiration using your mica stains if you happen to have these in your stash. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you again soon with another card tutorial.